Look at a map of northern Africa, and you'll see a void the size of the United States. The Sahara is a 3.5 million square mile ocean of sand. It is a geographical dead zone designed by nature to sever the continent in half. Navigation usually relies on fixed points, a mountain peak, a riverbed, a coastline. But here, surface temperatures reach 170 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind constantly resculpts the terrain. The map physically erases itself every single day. Yet centuries before the first combustion engine, thousands of tons of gold, salt, and textiles flowed across this exact terrain. Entire empires built their economies on a massive trade network, crossing an uncrossable void. The people who made this possible were the Tuareg. History often labels them as desert nomads wandering in search of water, but looking closely at their methods reveals something entirely different. They were the master architects and logisticians of the Sahara. Out here, a single sudden wall of dust can bury a caravan in minutes, blinding travelers and instantly destroying any sense of direction. Operating within this chaos demanded a set of rigorously calculated systems that accounted for every shift in the atmosphere. The Tuareg transformed the Sahara into a viable transit corridor through a collective mastery of its physical variables. Keeping a transcontinental supply chain alive in a lethal environment meant inventing entirely new ways to calculate direction, to manage weight, and mitigate risk. The first massive hurdle is maintaining a straight line. If you drift even 1 degree off course over a 500-mile stretch, you will miss the next well and perish. Holding a precise bearing when the ground is moving requires a different kind of compass. Look at this diagram of their nighttime navigation. To bypass the extreme heat, the Tuareg traveled extensively after dark. They locked their macro bearings onto specific stellar alignments, using the fixed geometry of the night sky to stay perfectly straight against the shifting horizon below. During the day, the stars are gone. As this shifts to daylight, you can see how they read the microgeography. They analyzed the exact angles of sand ripples and the prevailing wind currents, calculating true north just by looking at the texture of the ground. The Tuareg synthesized these transient environmental indicators into a practice known as topographical memory, a shared mental database of the moving landscape. By translating ephemeral details, the shape of a dune or the temperature of a breeze, into a reliable mathematical bearing, they navigated a terrain that lacks fixed landmarks. Knowing which way to go is only the first step. The sheer distance between sparse water sources turns the journey into a complex mathematical logistics equation. This map lays out the hidden oases across the Sahara as distinct nodes. The Tuareg network functioned like a massive routing algorithm, drawing the fastest, most mathematically efficient geometric paths to connect these isolated points of survival. These paths were never static. The network was constantly recalculating based on the specific payload weight of the caravan, the number of travelers, and incoming seasonal weather fronts, ensuring they never depleted a node before reaching it. To power this massive network, they utilized a highly specialized biological engine, the camel. Capable of retaining massive amounts of water and carrying heavy freight over loose sand, these animals were the cargo ships of the desert. This constant adjustment of weight and speed allowed the Tuareg to schedule transcontinental arrivals with a level of predictability that rivaled industrial freight operations. They managed supply constraints across thousands of miles of sand using purely logical frameworks. Even with precise navigation and optimal routing, the physical reality of the deep Sahara demands absolute perfection. A single lame animal, a cracked water skin, or a bypassed well can terminate an entire caravan. To mitigate this risk, they implemented highly regulated survival systems. Water was never consumed just because someone was thirsty. It was distributed through strict mathematical rationing, controlled meticulously by caravan leaders to ensure exact longevity. They also maintained a continuous intergenerational transfer of data. When different caravans crossed paths in the deep desert, they paused to exchange critical, up-to-the-minute intelligence on well conditions, grazing spots, and shifting dune locations. These groups were entirely self-sufficient. As you can see in this historical camp from 1890, a caravan operated as a highly organized mobile outpost, fully equipped to handle medical emergencies, equipment repairs, and months of extreme isolation. By codifying their knowledge, these caravans operated with a level of consistency that supported a massive, multi-century trade economy. This institutional discipline turned the Sahara's environmental hazards into manageable logistical variables. Look at this map of the continent to see the scale of what they achieved. This massive web of trans-Saharan trade routes is the primary circulatory system of pre-colonial Africa, linking West African gold mines to Mediterranean ports, fueling multiple empires. Infrastructure typically implies a permanent scar on the earth: pipelines, rails, or paved roads. The Tuareg established alternative, a highway system built from shared memory, biological logistics, and an absolute understanding of environmental fluid dynamics. This intellectual network worked in perfect harmony with a lethal environment. Instead of trying to pave over the desert or conquer it with brute force, they adapted their systems to flow seamlessly within it. The Tuareg maintained a continental highway system without ever breaking the desert surface. One of the most lucrative trade networks in history left no physical trace because its entire structure lived within the expertise of its engineers.